We're doing this now. We're doing this now. Yeah, don't fucking crosstalk or fucking speak. Yeah, we're doing this now. We are live. Hey. Start. You're so dumb. I can dunk on you while sloshed. We're doing this. I don't care. This is the worst idea I've had in months, but I don't care because I have so much fun. Oh my god. Dunking on the stupid shit that Gary says. We're going to try to speed through this one. I've got some liquid courage.
Fort Worth Crosstalk is back.
Properly ethnic.
Our weekly guest.
Liquid courage.
We're going to get into the science
and my homemade herbal remedies.
The whole series is on how atheism is stupid.
Yes.
And how it just
on how stupid fucking atheism is.
Typically,
yes.
Before I introduce Rob, an observation that I've made is that Christians invented the scientific method.
Who cares? This is the Francis Bacon thing. Who cares? Literally, who cares?
There's reason to believe that the past will be, the future will be like the past. So
yes. Gravity and the speed of light never changes.
Atheists obviously reject that God created the earth and the universe. So
we don't reject it. You just haven't demonstrated that your God exists. So it's unreasonable for you to say these things. You haven't proven that this God exists, let alone that he created anything.
Scientific method. Nothing they do meets the standard, right? Everything they believe is just impossibilities, hope against hope.
We'll see about that.
Or something stupid like that. It's just fundamentally a ridiculous position, and Rob's really good at this. So I'm going to introduce Rob.
Yes.
I'm gonna let
Rob is so good at this.
Rob is so good at this. Social media.
God.
I'm going to let you take the floor here, Rob.
All right, so thanks for having me again. Like I said, this one of the highlights of my week is being on your show. Can you hear me okay?
You said loud and clear.
Dude, do a fucking tech check. This is so dumb, bro. Do a fucking tech check. Do a fucking tech check. For the love of Darwin. For the love of Darwin.
So this is our 6th show now, and like Gary and I said before we recorded, it's going to be a 2-part show on the scientific impossibilities of atheism. You can find me at Twitter at my main page.
There's some drama about the Twitter. There's a little bit of tea. He unblocked me weirdly after saying that the debate might not happen if Gary's going to be dumb. I should. I don't want to. I don't know that I want to show DMs live. I feel like that's an invasion of. There's an expectation of privacy there. But Rob has agreed to keep Gary on a fucking tight leash about the moderation. So we'll see how it goes.
And then you can find me on YouTube at my name. Search Robert Gruen. Gruen is my last name. I also have some content on my pastor's channel. If you type Tim Mock, Tim.
Okay, we are going to be going over this, by the way. Because his ministry work is very interesting. He presents himself very differently than he does here. Granted, it's almost 5 years old now. So.
This last name is M-A-U-C-H. My name, Rob Gruen. Again, Gruen is my last name. Or Luke Armstrong, Robert Gruen. And you'll find some of my sermon.
Gary!
As well.
Gary, tweeting at me. I say retarded things, bro. This is how retarded you are. I can dunk on you while I'm sloshed, bro.
And
I don't even have to be sober. You're this stupid, bro. I'm sorry.
So that being said, let's get right into the scientific impossibilities of atheism. Go ahead,
let
sir.
me set you up, Rob. I'm the atheist. You play you. Okay.
Yes, Gary. Let's see you play atheist.
Darwinist worldview is science.
Nobody calls it neo-Darwinism. This is not a thing. This is a word you have invented to smear people as if Darwinism is like a dirty word. You're trying to make it a dirty word, and it's never going to happen because normal, rational people don't worship fucking Charles Darwin. This is not a thing that happens. Okay? This is not a thing that we do, Gary.
Scientific, it's scientifically proven. Creationism isn't. Take the floor.
Well, first of all, you just making the claim that evolution is proven doesn't mean it has
Yeah, we have tons of evidence. The peppered moths. There you go.
been proven.
It's like the easiest example I can give,
does it?
and you can't destroy it.
In 9th grade science class, I learned that it was.
Yeah, well, maybe.
You didn't learn. They showed you. Well, you're from Texas, Gary, so maybe they didn't show you. Given how inferior your fucking education system is. But in the civilized world, in the developed world, in the first world, Gary, not the third world backwater fucking Texas hick village you come from, you know, they show us how it fucking works. You idiot. You never done a Punnett Square, asshole? That's how they show you. They show you the mechanism, bro. That's like the whole class. They show it to you.
Have you ever thought maybe that what you were taught wasn't real and that you just used to think for yourself?
I'm an atheist. I don't really do the whole thinking thing, Rob. That's not really my bag. I was told Darwin. I was told the Lyell column, and you date the fossil by the rock and the rock by the fossil, but that's not circular.
Nobody did. Where does this come from? That we date the rocks by the fossils? I mean, yeah, we can get a general idea of what fucking layer we're in, given the kinds of fossils that we find. But if we want to put a fucking age on the rock, we don't use the fossils around the rock. The fuck? You just date the rock. What do you want about?
So
No.
That's what I was taught, Rob. I'm just gonna go with what I'm taught. I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist because my public school teacher told me so, and I'm going with that.
Yeah, dude. Oh yes, my guy, my fucking high school science teacher, Mr. Sakovich. Shout out to that guy, by the way. Oh my god, he indoctrinated us, bro. He stood at the fucking class like Sheldon and indoctrinated us, dog. Yes, dude. While he was showing us how proteins fold, like physically showing us with a model, while we were doing fucking experiments in the back of the room, bro. Yeah, man. They just indoctrinated us, bro. We didn't do any of the experiments. We didn't do any of the work. It's like this guy skipped school, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a dropout.
Well, that's well then. If you don't like logic and science, and you probably shouldn't. You probably wouldn't like Christianity either.
No.
Wow.
My government school teacher told me that was bad. Something about 1,000 years ago in the Catholic Church.
Nobody. Oh my god. If anything, we are taught about world religions. We are taught about tons of religions. That's like all of history, bro, is just religion. And talking about its effects and its spread and its influence and its impact. Holy shit. No, they don't tell us that religion is bad. The fuck are you on about? They teach us about your religion. They teach us about Islam. They teach us about Buddhists. They teach us about the whole fucking gambit, bro. What are you on about? Never is anyone discouraged from having religious belief in the public school system. That's the one thing you gotta give them credit for. They don't do that shit anymore. Where does this come from? Like, you lived in Texas, bro. The most religious... Well, I don't want to say the most religious. I'm pretty sure there are more religious people. I shouldn't put my foot in the mouth. But one of the most religious states in the fucking country... just per capita, especially when you grew up, you old fuck. Nobody told you that religion was bad. This is a lie that you're fucking telling to people. Nobody says this.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're actually giving them too much credit.
Maybe.
I mean, but anyways, so as I've said in a
God.
couple of previous shows with you that I asked one guy, like, you believe in God? He's like, yeah, you don't? He's like, no, I don't. It's like, well, how do you get something from everything from nothing? It's like, yeah, that's a good point. Again, that's really where it
Did you
starts.
actually concede that was a good point?
Yeah.
Because they usually just go into, I just lack a belief. I don't care. What can you prove? What do you...
No,
Homie, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. There is nothing unreasonable about saying, I don't believe you. I lack a belief. Jesus. Why? I don't believe you. The bowl is empty. There is nothing in there. And you have not convinced me to put your shit in the bowl. It's that simple, Gary.
this guy wasn't smart enough to...
conclusion.
This guy wasn't smart. He wasn't smart enough to think of something like that.
It's so not an argument. I lack a belief. Okay, I lack a belief.
No, it's not an argument, Gary. We're trying to explain to you that you have the affirmative position. We're not here to prove anything. You're the one proposing something that doesn't match up with nature. Like, how the fuck do you misunderstand this critical, like, foundational rule of logic is that you have an affirmative position. You have to provide evidence for the affirmative position. Otherwise, dude, you don't have a case. That's just how it works.
Now we've said nothing. Now give me the evidence that you have for your position.
Yeah,
right?
the other
I
thing
lack a
is-
belief drives me insane. That you're not telling me.
It drives you insane because it requires you to actually, like, put your money where your fucking mouth is, Gary. That's why it drives you insane.
Yeah.
It's like me telling an atheist, well, Christian just means to be like Christ. Okay, but do you believe in the Bible? Well, Christian just means to be like Christ.
I mean, that's essentially what you do. This is kind of what you do. Because anytime anyone asks you about doctrine, anytime anyone asks you about the contradictions between the different doctrines, you just resort back to Jesus. Oh, it's about Jesus. It's Jesus. Jesus is the only answer you guys have fucking given anyone for the last 300 years, bro. This weird strain of Protestantism, it just has no clothes, bro. You have no clothes. At least the fucking Catholics can make the argument that their church is the one that Jesus fucking established. They have the entire succession, right? The laying on of hands, apostolic succession. They've got the whole fucking line. I've seen it because I was raised Catholic. At least they've got that fucking argument. You've got nothing. You've got nothing. Protestants haven't been able to make a good fucking argument for God fucking ever. Your only arguments are based off of fucking Catholic friars like Aquinas. Your entire theology is fucking bullshit, even by Christian standards, bro. Young Earth creationists are the bottom of the fucking barrel. You guys are dumb.
It's like, okay, but what do you believe? Well, Christian, that's not what I'm asking. It's not what I'm asking you.
I told
What
one
is your
atheist
worldview?
on Twitter today that I think the only thing you guys have mastered is copy and paste.
Holy shit, dude. You want to talk about copy and paste? Oh my god. Sorry, I've got an ice cube in my mouth. Oh my goodness. You want to talk about copy and paste on me? There is a series of videos on Jackson Wheat's channel that Peter co-hosted on and was helping with. A book published in 1958. 1958. By Jehovah's Witnesses, laying out every single argument for creation that you guys have made, that your teachers have made, that all of the famous anti-evolutionist fucking weirdo young earth creationist preacher has made. The exact same fucking arguments, all of them, date back to at least 1958. Talk about fucking copy and paste. There is nothing new under the young earth creationist sun. There is nothing new under your sun, bro. You have not made a single new argument since 1958 at minimum.
They all have the same prayer book, right?
It's ridiculous.
There's
no original idea.
When I was a stockbroker, right? When we first started as a junior broker, right? You get an actual.
You worked as a
right?
stockbroker? God, that's so slimy. Ugh.
Because no matter when you're pitching stack, you're going to get the 5 objections over and over and over. Same objections, no matter who you're dealing with. I got to talk to my wife. I'm not liquid right now. It's the same objections over and over again. So
yeah, but financial objections are unlike atheist objections. They're actually legitimate objections.
But yeah, but
you know what? This explains so much about the way that you talk to people. You're a fucking sales guy. You're a stockbroker. Like you were doing the Wolf of Wall Street bullshit, and that's not a fucking compliment. That's fucking slimy, dude.
The same ones. You just learn to take things down, right? So someone says, "I have to talk to my wife." Okay, bang. You open up your rebuttal book and you just read the rebuttal, right? Because you already know what they're gonna say, right? And then they say, well, I'm not liquid right now," and then bang, or I already have a broker, and you just turn the atheists all have the same playbook. It's like they're just reading out of the same rebuttal book, but their rebuttals don't work, right? It's like there is zero.
Dude, we have the same rebuttals because your arguments don't change. You're not changing your tactics, so we don't have to change our answers. Ask new questions, and we will give you new answers. That's how it works.
Zero original thought. When you're a stockbroker trainer, and I've seen idiots in Wall Street make $1 million. Literally idiots, idiots make $1 million because all they're doing is read, and it works. But the atheist rebuttal book is stupid; it doesn't work. But they're all repeating the same thing. It's like this is the easiest thing in the world to debunk. But I don't want to go on a tangent on how little atheists think. I want to let you. Get
my God.
Into your group.
You know what? I might even grant you that, Gary. We don't have to think about this a whole lot. We don't. That's how dumb your arguments are. We don't have to think about it a whole lot. We can give it 5 seconds of thought, realize that your shit is made up and fake, and it doesn't make fucking sense, and it doesn't line up with nature, and then dismiss it because you don't have any evidence. You just point to your fucking Bible. Man, London Storm says this, and I love it when he fucking says this. You've got a book. He's got a book. She's got a book. They've all got a fucking book, bro. Your book isn't special. That's simple. It's that simple.
Your forte on creationism and evolution, etc.
Okay, so like that first what I just said was like, you know, the starting point was like we can observe in nature that every effect has a cause. The thing is, logically, we're going to have to come to a point where we meet an uncaused first cause.
No. Why are you making that assumption? That is an assumption that you're making. That it is unreasonable for you to assume that there is a first cause. No, we see an unbroken chain of events going back to infinity, bro. Why are you assuming that there is a first cause? This is what I mean when I told you that this infinite regression thing that you seem to think is a problem isn't a problem. You're making assumptions about things because you don't understand them. And so you're making bad arguments based on those assumptions. There doesn't need to be a first cause. The Big Bang is not the first cause. By the way, before you bring it up, the Big Bang is not the first cause. It is just the furthest point that we can see. Imagine yourself standing in front of your father and your grandfather. Just because your grandfather is the oldest person in line, the oldest thing you can see in your field of vision, doesn't mean that he was the first person on Earth, or even the first person in your bloodline, right? Just because you can't see past the Big Bang, which is essentially what's going on here, we just don't have the tools or the math to see past the Big Bang, doesn't mean that the Big Bang is the beginning of the universe. It's just the furthest point that we can see, okay? There is no reason to think that there wasn't a previous state in the universe where it was expanded and then it fell into that point. The cyclical nature of the universe is not confirmed or unconfirmed. You are making an assumption about the non-cyclicalness of the universe, right?
The reason for that is, you know, that any atheist will give that. Well, that's
cyclicality. Cyclicality would that be a word?
But no, it's not, because the reason. You have to have at least one uncaused first.
No, you don't. You don't. And you have not demonstrated why you need this. You don't. You were just making this assumption.
One, because he can be the only one. Is because
why? Why is your God the only uncaused causer? Like, I don't. You go from this assumption that there needs to be an uncaused causer to the next assumption that your God needs to be that uncaused causer. This is insane. This is insane. Why your God and not any other God? Makes no sense.
Regress is logically absurd and scientific.
You're just jumping here. Okay,
Even
so
the
you
atheist
just,
who
if it's scientifically impossible, fucking prove it.
ridiculous, like the Earth is like 13, 14 billion years old, still concedes that the universe had a beginning, which means that time, space, and matter.
No, we don't concede this. We don't know that this is the case. Why are you saying that? You're putting words in our mouth. We do not concede. I do not concede that there is a beginning to the universe. There is a point at which we cannot see past, but that doesn't make it the beginning.
Have a starting point. So it's like, as we both discussed already, which means that whoever created the universe must be timeless material.
No. Again, assuming that the universe is created, even if I grant you that the Big Bang is the starting position, we have no reason to believe that the universe is created. This is a secondary. You're like attaching this necessity on top of another necessity, right? That you are just assuming. You are granting this without justification.
Basis. We call this being God. So that even if you believe that the Earth is as old as 14 billion years ago, which it can't be, because as we've already
ironically thinking the Earth is 14 billion years old.
Is that the? Hold on, I thought 14 billion was the age of the. What the fuck? Oh shit! All right, hold on. Age of Earth. I could just Google this. This is awesome. 4.5 billion years, not 14. 14 is the approximate age of the universe, and I think that has been contested recently. At least one study says it's double that.
Imagine thinking that, and how.
Yeah, like we'd this rock would be, we'd all be extinct, and this rock would be there and waste.
What? Why do you assume that? Why do you assume that? Just because the Earth is that old that we what? What? How are you jumping to this conclusion? Why can't we just be the latest thing on this planet? We don't have to have existed for all of the Earth's. What? Oh my god! It's like you can't conceptualize the idea of things existing before you, bro, and before humanity. Like the Earth was here before we were, and that for some reason is like incalculable in your mind. It's so fucking weird. Yeah, man, this place is old. We're just the latest thing to arise on it. Why does that bother you? It's so strange.
I can't imagine a grown-up actually thinking that. It blows my mind.
I can't imagine a grown-up not believing, or rather not believing, not understanding this. What? Just the rocks, bro. You can pull the rock out of the mountain, and you can see it's right there. It's right there. You go to the Grand Canyon, Gary. You can. Well, you live in Texas. You're probably a ways away, but you could feasibly travel to the Grand Canyon, right? And just see the rocks. They're right there. They pulled. I put a picture of the gneiss that was pulled out of fucking the Grand Canyon. It's 1 billion years old, bro. It's right there. Like,
humans have been around for how many millions of years? Yes. So why is the population?
Humans, no, about 200, maybe 300,000. Not millions. The oldest skeletons we have are from the Omo remains, which are about 200,000 years old.
7 or 8 billion. Right? If humans have
4.5 billion.
Been around for 100 million years.
No.
Explain to me how we have such a small population, right? Because the population doubles every 7 years.
Is that true? Hold on. Global population birth rate. Oh wait, hold on. Population growth rate. No, it goes up by about 1.1% per year. It does not double no. What the fuck? Who told you this? This is massively incorrect. What the fuck? If you look at population charts, like it just doesn't even. It's not. You would expect it to be exponential. The one that exponentially it doubles every year. Yeah, it would be exponential. Sorry, I'm sloshed. I don't know if you can tell. So, and I actually did fail algebra. So, when you start throwing exponents at me, my brain starts going fuzzy. I just dropped. There it is. But no, about 1.1% year over year. Yeah, no, this is massively incorrect. Massively incorrect.
Well, the thing is, actually, the population would actually be zero now. Because,
no, that's true too. Yeah.
What? What? No. What? I mean, even if you assume that humans have been on Earth since the Earth was like formed, is the Earth was habitable? No, dude. What? No.
Because we'd have exploited all our resources.
So silly.
Yeah.
It's
like
so silly.
Long time. So that's in the thousands of years.
But if you
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of years.
Double the population every 14 years, right? You add 50% every 7 years.
No. What? No. 1% year over year. 1.1% year over year. Doubles every 7? That's insane. That's insane. Population. I'm Googling this. Doubles every 7 years. Let's see where this is from. I don't even know where he's getting this from. I'm just Googling it. I don't know where he's getting it from. If this was true, I would be able to immediately pull this up on Google and I would be immediately able to fact check him. This is insane. No, population increases about 1.1% per year stably. We've had rises and falls in this growth rate over points in history, right? Just due to environmental things like plagues and shit. But average, it's about 1%.
How long that takes to get to 8 billion people?
It took us like 10,000 years, something like that.
4,000 years.
No. No. This is so massively stupid. I'm sorry. Oh, no. Just no. I don't care. I just no, dude. No. We have human skeletons older than 4,000 years. My guy. We have tons of them. The oldest one we have, 200,000 years old, homie. 200,000 years old. No. I'm so sorry.
What happened about 4,000 years ago?
Oh,
Jesus.
God wiped out everyone over.
Even Rob, come on. No, there is no archaeological evidence. There is no geological evidence for the flood. Dinosaur bones in the ground are not evidence of a fucking flood. Oh my God. There are no records. Of floods that happened at this time. We have no cultural evidence of this. A global flood, dude? Somebody would have written it fucking down. You know, we have written accounts of people watching volcanoes explode. You don't think a flood would have been noticed? A flood that took 40 days? You don't think that somebody would have noticed? And they're like, oh shit, I should write this down. I should tell people about this. You expect me to believe that illiterate fishermen learned Greek in their fucking 40s? Learned educated Greek in their 40s. But not that anyone at the time of a flood wrote anything down about the fucking flood. You're insane. I'm sorry.
Flood.
You're insane. You're insane.
In 4,000 years, we got to 8 billion. Yeah, that math checks. If you saw it, yeah.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. What are you even on about? Can we even do this on a I kind of want to see if this even checks out math wise. You're dividing a number in half every 7 years. Oh my god. How many divisions does it take to get I'm not even. Oh my god. This. Okay. Every 7 years, you cut it in half. So we would go 8 billion. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna test this. Present, share screen, application, calculator. We're going to keep track. So, hold on. So that's 8 million, 800 million, 8 billion. Divide by 2. Cutting it in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're already at 20. We're at 20. 7,629. This is not looking good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At 8, we're under the amount. At 8, we're under the amount required to keep a species going. I think the threshold is like 50. Okay. 28 times 7. 196 years. 196 years. Doubling every 7 years. Please explain why we have written records of people who lived 1,000 years ago and not what this math makes no fucking sense. Gary, I don't know what the fuck you're on about, but that math makes no fucking sense. The population does not double every 7 years. That is, I'm sorry, dude. That's retarded. I don't know who told you that, but they fucking lied to you. 1%, 1.1% year over year.
What doesn't work is we started 100 million years ago or 15 million years ago. I can't believe anyone believes that. I can't believe anyone actually believes that. It's amazing to me.
Nobody believes that.
First, the entire world would be desert. Do you know how
what? No. The
desert expands?
What? Do you know how rapidly desert expands? Do you understand that the biosphere of the planet is dependent on the orbital mechanics of the Earth as it goes around the sun? That is kind of like the end all of the explanation as to why we have different biomes where they are, different species where they are, because they all get different amounts of fucking light. Like, the reason that you get hotter towards the equator is because it's facing the sun more often than anywhere else on the planet. Yeah? That's not why, like, what? Exposure to the sun. Exposure to the sun. It's like he thinks, he expects the world to end up like Dune if it's older than 10,000 years. He thinks that it's just, which is weird because he doesn't believe in climate change. Gary, does this mean you believe in climate change? Do you believe that climate changes over time? I guess maybe he doesn't believe in anthropocentric climate change, right? Man-made shit. But
huge. It's huge.
What?
5,000 years. The entire world will be desert.
No. What? No. said this with a straight face. No. Oh my god, dude. No. I can't take you seriously. The magnitude of this stupid. No, man. That's not how deserts work. That's not how biomes work at all. I'm losing my mind. There's no way you actually believe this. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, no. Oh boy. Yeah, no. I think there are some deserts older than the date you're proposing, as a matter of fact. Actually, I think, why am I even saying I think? Definitely. Many of the deserts in the world right now we're still deserts before the last ice age. At least one of them, right? So this idea that they like expand over time, if anything, I think they shrunk during the ice age, but
14 million?
No,
It's so
for the record, I'm not. I am a layperson, but I understand that this guy is fucking stupid. I'm probably getting the details wrong here, to be completely honest. Because I don't. Earth science is not my forte. Although unfortunately, these guys have made me study an unusual amount of Earth science in order to be able to refute their stupid ass fucking claims. But like this claim that if the world had been around for longer than 6,000, 10,000 years, that the whole world would be a desert is insane. That is just demonstrably false. It is just demonstrably false. We have temperate forests that are older than this date. Like the fucking glaciers are far older than this. Like I don't what the fuck is he getting at?
Logical and so stupid. Like none of this checks.
Yeah, we're the stupid ones. We're the stupid ones.
And then they say carbon dating. Yeah, carbon dating date thing.
Carbon dating
For about 10,000 years, and that's it.
No, incorrect. 50 to 60,000. Incorrect, first of all. 50 to 60,000. And even if that was even if we couldn't date anything past that, bro, you would still be wrong.
So how do they get 30 million years?
Because we have other kinds of radiometric dating.
Extrapolation, right? Like
extrapolation. What? You're just making words up
like,
there.
well, if I have
I'm still too sober for this,
and I've been peeling one orange for 1 hour, then it took me 500 billion hours to peel this many oranges. Like,
what?
That's dumb.
Yeah, like you're assuming way too much there.
Yeah. Well, the only
wait.
Then it's just all extrapolation.
Hold on.
Right? Like none of it. It's like, well, if I have one orange and I've been peeling one orange for 1 hour, then it took me 500 billion hours to peel this many oranges. Like,
if it takes me an hour to peel one orange, and I have peeled 500 million oranges, it's pretty safe to assume that I have been peeling oranges for 500 million hours. Okay? I think this is... You just made the argument. You just said the thing. If it takes me an hour to peel an orange, and I've peeled 500 million oranges, it is safe to assume that I have been here for at least 500 million hours peeling oranges.
no,
That's dumb.
yeah. Like you're assuming way too much there.
Yeah. Well, the only reason
Not assuming anywhere near as much as you, buddy.
$30 million
You're the king of
possible for the entire universe to come together in 14 billion years.
And what we've learned is that even the 13 billion years would not even be close to enough to have everything randomly mutated. It wouldn't even be close.
What?
Enough, right?
What
So
do you mean it wouldn't have been enough time? What? Like I don't understand why you think that this is a fucking dice roll, bro. It's not a dice roll. It's not targeted.
But the idea that it's like completely random is ridiculous. No, a group always survives a change of, well, the entire group doesn't, but when we're talking about, it's not a fucking dice roll. The mutations themselves are random, yes, but the group that survives, assuming there is a surviving group when the environment changes, is kind of deterministic in the sense that, like the peppered moths, the bark became covered in soot, and so the moths that had the advantageous mutations survived. Right? Them surviving is not a dice roll. Them surviving is a deterministic effect, right, of the environment changing. That's just evolution. That's just what it is. It's this, rinse and repeat over several 100 million generations. Right?
The thing is, even the evolutionists that I've talked to said mutations are either neutral or disadvantages at the most.
No, that's untrue. The vast majority of them, benign. They don't do anything. Right? There are few mutations that do bad things, and even fewer that do good things. Good things. The vast majority of mutations are benign. They don't do anything. Okay? The majority are not bad. The majority are benign.
And mutation is never advantageous. Ever.
That's what? What? Peppered moths. The mutation became advantageous because the environment changed. A benign mutation that changed, actually a negative mutation, because they didn't fit in with the original bark of the trees, and then they were selected for because the environment changed. A bad mutation caused an advantage later when the environment changed. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
So, like if you look at a mutation, it's like if I have a third ear, that's a mutation.
No. But see, evolution doesn't do that. Evolution doesn't give you extra shit, dude. It doesn't do that. It'll change your genes in a very specific manner. You're not going to look like fucking Quasimodo. This is the problem. It's funny that Gary will accuse me of being somebody who reads comic books, which I would never stoop to that fucking level, by the way. Comic books are for fucking nerds. But this idea that they have from comic books that like mutations are like freakish abominations that like fucking happen to you. You grow a third arm or a fourth eye, and you've got like crow's feet and cankles. You're like fucking hideously deformed. No, dude. An advantageous adaptation could be you produce slightly more of a specific, fucking hormone in your body, and so you can run faster than everybody else. This is like a huge like. This is all. I'm not a fucking evolutionary biologist, right? I don't know that this is actually the case, but that is the example of it. It's a minor change. A very minor change. Sometimes it's just one change in the fucking sequence on the genome, man. Also, mutations is a bad way of looking at it. These are just changes in allele frequency, right? Like, there are enough differences between you and your sibling that if you stretch this out long enough and the conditions change long enough, like, you understand? Like, this is your siblings, or rather your offspring, your progeny, and the progeny of your progeny could move to a different geographic location on the fucking planet and become adapted for later in life and later through successive generations to different fucking conditions. This is how like racial differences evolved. The melanin is something that developed in humans to protect them from the sun's harmful rays, because the sun emits a lot of UV radiation. It's bad for us. It's bad for our skin. The melanin is good. It defends you from that, right? But as humans moved out of Africa and they went to the northern regions where sunlight is more scarce, their skin got lighter and not thinner, I guess. It got lighter and I don't want to say fair. Fair is not the right word. It got wider. They got wider because they had less sun, and that's how you absorb as vitamin D or vitamin C. It's one of the fucking vitamins that you need, right? And the evolution via natural selection. And well, you know, it's mostly benign, bro. It's mostly benign.
That's not an advantage to me. It actually will probably be a disadvantage because then I have parts of my body that have to feed that part of my ear.
Which is gonna
This is so dumb. This is just not how it works, bro. The vast majority of changes do not result in phenotypical differences. They're like minor splicing or mutations in the fucking genome that change basically nothing. That's the vast majority of mutations. You're probably carrying one of those. That's how cancer starts, right?
Which I don't need. It's not an advantage. That's a disadvantage.
This is you personally judging whether or not a third ear would be a disadvantage because it costs the body slightly more to get an entirely new ear. And also, what is the disadvantage? You got to cut it off later? Are you serious? This is your argument? This is ridiculous.
People have a sixth toe.
And I would probably have
harder.
It's
not an advantage. Having a sixth toe is not an advantage. Oftentimes it's removed because it's a
because it's benign. It's not a disadvantage. It's benign. And these are not like major genetic mutations. These are just like birth abnormalities, right? This is not like a change in the genetic code. Sixth toes are not like a genetic thing, at the very least in this context, right? This is weird that you're citing this.
Yeah. The thing is, too, is if I had a third ear, I'm sure it would make it harder for me to get a woman, too.
What?
What's wrong with Rob?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Rob, it's already hard for you to get a woman. That's why you have to send them dick pics over Twitter.
Difficult.
Or over email. But I guess you do it over Twitter, too.
Richard Hitchens showed me a picture of a whale with feet. It was a cartoon.
Richard Hitchens?
Richard Dawkins showed me a picture of
showed you
a
personally?
Feet. What do we make of that? It was a cartoon. It was a drawing, but obviously that's real.
Obviously.
No, what? No, it's not real because he drew it. It's a fucking cartoon. It's a drawing. It's a drawing. It's a drawing. What the fuck, dude?
I really like. You should follow him if you didn't already. It's this guy called Not Evolution One. It's his Twitter handle. It's like his picture of SpongeBob.
This guy's dumb as fuck, by the way. The guy they're talking about, I interact with him on Twitter all the time. I don't care about shitting on this dude because he's fucking dumb. He's dumb. He's dumb as fuck, bro.
He should follow.
Makes the worst arguments ever, and he makes shitty memes, bro. Like this guy is not dank. This guy has no riz. All right. This motherfucker cannot pay the phantom tax.
Yeah, he's got all these great memes. Like he's got like one like all these like pictures going in one direction. He's like, that's a great drawing, but it's not scientific. So it's the same thing with Richard. So if I one guy drew a picture.
Oh my god!
I think one picture is one side it was like a land dwelling animal, and the other side it became aquatic. It's just a drawing.
Just got one more follow. I just followed him. Not Evolution One. You got one more follow.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I
jerk.
said it's just a picture, like just if you draw a picture with a whale, that's just a picture. That just proves you can draw a picture. It doesn't prove anything beyond that. Like, and there's no scientific evidence whatsoever that a whale has ever become a land-dwelling mammal.
It's just not. It's ridiculous.
No, you're absolutely right, and that confirms evolution because of the law of phylogeny. You cannot outgrow your ancestry. But whales and flies are still eukaryotes, and you and I are still eukaryotes. Monophyly. Oh, look at that. It's amazing. That's the magic. The whale doesn't have to become a squirrel. The whale not becoming a squirrel is evidence of monophyly. You don't outgrow your ancestry.
Right? Like, evolution tells you eventually if you breed dogs long enough, then you're going to get a non-dog.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, I have a dog.
No. Oh my god. Dude, that's I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. You'll end up like Gary. And Rob. Especially Rob. You don't want to be Rob. He is unemployed, single, and is resorting to sending women dick pics in the lobby of a McDonald's in order to get attention and clicks. Oh, man, you don't want to be Rob. Don't do drugs. No, I'm not smoking Czar. I am puffing on tobacco. Good Virginia Gold tobacco.
When I bred it with another dog, it had more dogs. It didn't have a dragon. It didn't have a cabbage. It had a dog. Now,
Oh, wait, so going back,
Yeah. You breed dogs and you're going to get dogs. But eventually, as you breed those dogs out into different lineages, they will not be able to interbreed. They will speciate. They'll still be dogs. Just like dogs and foxes are still canids. Just like you and monkeys are still apes. Because you don't outgrow your ancestry. Monophily. What a wonderful concept.
back to
variance in the dog, sure, yeah, but it's still a dog. Its chromosome didn't change, right?
So you mean Genesis was 11 was right when God said everything produces after its own kind? How about that?
All eukaryotes only produce eukaryotes. They're all eukaryotes because they have common ancestry. That's the eukaryotic kind, if you will. The eukaryotic kind, if you will, because monophily. You're absolutely right. This is insanity.
And that's not kind. Kind.
The eukaryotic kind.
We call them phylum say. It's a kind.
Phylums.
So when they say that there were 5 billion species on the Noah's Ark, no. It says kind. He brought 2 of every kind. Today we see.
Where do you draw the line? What is a kind? Define a kind, please. Define a fucking kind. Please. At what level are we starting to group these individuals together? At the species? At the family? At the order? Where? Where are you grouping them together? Please draw me a comprehensive list. I think Guts at Gibbon did just an insane, just complete takedown of the Baraminic model, the Ham model from Answers in Genesis, directly from the Ark encounter as it was like displayed. And they had to invent another kind of like ape. They had to invent a pungid kind, which is not like a term that we use anymore in like modern taxonomy, right? Because they didn't know where to group everything. There is so much overlap between all of the apes that they couldn't like, or rather all of the primates, that they couldn't like group them right. So they had to create a new kind to account for all of the shit that they couldn't group. And they just called them pongids, which is get insane, you know. Please draw me a comprehensive chart. I would love to see how you organize everything. Gary, this is a public challenge, homie. Draw me a kinds chart that includes every animal, every species ever observed or ever excavated. Please. Show me exactly how you organize every single taxon. Please. I'm begging you. please show me how you organize all of life. Open challenge, meet it. But since you're the biggest pussy in Texas, Gary, you're the biggest pussy in Texas. And I don't care who fucking hears me. You're the biggest pussy in Texas. You'll never fucking do it. Please draw me a fucking chart with every species ever seen, ever excavated, and organized discreetly into all of their created kinds. Please. And submit it for review. Open challenge. Open challenge. I'm going to tweet at you. I'm going to respond to your shit. Open challenge. Gary, organize. Gary, demonstrate your created kinds. Your created kinds model by organizing all species ever observed or excavated into discrete and well-ordered kinds, into well-ordered groups, and submit it for review. Since you're the biggest pussy, I'm going to capitalize that. Since you're the biggest pussy in Texas, fucking TM, I am trademarking that. You're getting a trademark, buddy. You won't have the balls to fucking do it. I am going to tag everyone. I am tagging everyone. Oh, I can't. Done. Post was sent. I'm going to tag everybody in the fucking comments. YouTube going to go for it. Fucking... Who else right now? Who is that other guy that I was talking to? London Storm. Quota card. Yeah, Lamau. Who else? Who else can I ping? I have to double check. Who's this new guy that I've been talking to? I have to double check my Twitter. I haven't been paying a shit ton of attention. Atheist Cockroach. Let's go. Atheist Cockroach. Nitty. We got to tag Nitty. Hold on. Let me look through my notifications and see who I've been interacting with recently. Let's see. Fabulous Freddy. Yes. And we'll tag Rob for good measure. Watch this shit. Homies. Fucking done. I challenge you. Open challenge. He won't do it. He's the biggest pussy in Texas. We're taking, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. How do I want to get some water. My throat is killing me. Hold on. We're going to take a quick break. How do I, there it is. I will be right back. We're not even halfway done with the fucking video. We're not even halfway done with the video. But I've got water now, so we're good.
Called kind and phylum, and within those kind, there's variation in the kind, right?
Yeah,
like there are different birds.
So like
Doesn't mean
you
that
and I
two of every species
Submit.
of birds.
I've already
that's
submitted
why
the challenge.
Talk about evolution, we have to talk about which one, because according to science, and everyone would have like a thinking person would have to concede that microevolution is for sure scientific. Adaptation and variation between the species. No, there's no question that happens. Like if you take a Labrador and a Golden Doodle and you breed, you're going to get some variation, but you're still going to have a dog.
You're going to have a dog. You're not going to get a raspberry. You're not going to get a virus. You're not going to get a whale.
Oh, man. We'll see which dog you identify as the original dog, by the way. We'll see. Because we have all of the dogs. We know all of them. I'd be very happy to see which one you decide to call the original dog.
And I think what I've noticed, and you probably have as well, I'm sure, I've noticed that when you talk to evolutionists, like what the education system has really done a good job is convincing people of genetic commonalities prove common ancestry.
No, it
it's
doesn't.
Like,
not at all.
It doesn't. No. But
you and your cousin being kind of alike proves that you share a grandfather. Also, comparative genomics. We could just demonstrate exactly how much of your DNA is related to the DNA of a banana, because at some point you did have a common ancestor. We could just show it to you. It's right there. It's comparative genomics. Comparative genomics. It's right there. It's right there. Plus fossil record. Lamau. It's just all right there. We can observe all of it because it's in front of us. We pull it out of the earth. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Thing is, if you talk to them, like you can tell, like this education system has really done a good job, or bad job, I should say, at indoctrinating people, at making them really believe that common genetic markers indicate common ancestry, but it doesn't. The only thing that common genetics indicate is just that, common genetics. So, if, for example, I think apes and humans have the most common genome. I think it's over 90%. We share genetic shape. The thing is,
human beings, Homo sapiens, and the modern chimpanzee share 99.7% of their DNA. Comparative genomics shows this. It's the same science that proves a paternity test. Okay? Same fucking science. But you put them in different kinds. Which is really weird, Rob. Because you have told me that lions, tigers, and house cats are all in the same kind. They're cats. But they only share 95% of their genome. They are less related to each other than we are to chimpanzees. Odd. Odd that you put them in the same kind, despite the fact that they're less related to each other than we are to chimpanzees, which you put in two different kinds. That doesn't make fucking sense. Doesn't make fucking sense. But guess what? The evolutionary model, descent and common ancestry, would predict that cats and tigers and lions would not be as close together as we are to chimpanzees, because their splits happened much earlier in the tree than ours did with chimpanzees. Again, humans have only been on this fucking planet for about 300,000 years. Our oldest skeletons, our oldest remains, are like 200 years old. Those are the oldest ones we have. Excuse me, 300,000. Did I say 300 million? I feel like I might have said 300 million. 300,000. 300,000 years. The oldest ones are 200,000 years old. Sorry, I'm impaired. Sometimes the numbers mix up as they're coming out the mouth hole. But the concept remains the same. My point stands that our split with chimpanzees happened much earlier compared to the split between house cats, tigers, and lions. And the evolutionary model would predict that we are more like chimpanzees than they are related to each other. But you have to just like kind of accommodate for that because it doesn't make fucking sense, but you don't want to let go of this fucking fairy tale. You don't want to let go of the fucking fairy tale.
Is if you look at
I'm getting feral.
But if you look at it, though, there's still, even though we share a lot of genetics similarities between apes, there's still enough difference. 10% difference in your DNA. It's still huge. Even 5% is huge.
Yeah, it's massive. 1% is massive. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we're talking like you and I.
Yeah, the difference here is 0.3%. 0.3%. And it's not that massive, by the way. We're not that much different than chimpanzees. We just have big brains. And those big brains allow us to do a lot of shit. But like physiognomy-wise, we're not that different. We're pretty similar. We just have big brains. Big brain. Grug have big brain. Do big think. Make many rocks. Make tool with rock. Oh. Tool make new tool. Tool make machine. Machine make machine. Grug smart. That's the only difference, homie. That's the only fucking difference. Like massive. Is that we're upright. Like sort of the whole time. Whereas their physiognomy is a little kinder to them about the walking on all fours. Although chimpanzees can walk upright, they're just not so like specifically built for it like we are. That's just the adaptations that we carried over, right? The major difference is the brain, right? We're just super smart. That's the only difference. And it's super arrogant of you. It's super arrogant of you. And like massively anthropocentric of you. To like see all of the shit that humans do and think that that like elevates you above the rest of the animal kingdom. It's very strange. In terms of like classification and origins, like we're not special in that sense. I think we're special because we're smart and we do kind of own nature, right? We are masters of nature now. This is just the place where our species is at. That makes us, does that make us stewards or does that make us harvesters? I don't know. That's a political question. But the point of the matter is that we are a part of the same biota of the planet. We are everything that we see here grew from this place. We are no different. We are made of the same stuff. And I think that's what bothers you, is that you're not special. And so that makes you feel like you don't have purpose or some shit. I hate to like drive-by diagnose you, dude, but it's really hard not to psychoanalyze this like weirdly anthropocentric view you have.
We have over 100 trillion cells running through our bodies. And 1% of that would be still enormous.
Enormous. We'd be two different species entirely. We'd be 1%. Yeah.
What?
Exactly. So that's what I think. This is a really stupid argument. Even if you had 99.9%, that 1.1% over 100 trillion cells, it's going to make a huge difference.
No, dude. No. The difference is in the genome. Your genome doesn't change from cell to cell. No. That's not how mutations work. Mutations happen at conception, homie. Oh my God. No, the individual cells do, well, individual cells do mutate, but not in that sense. It doesn't create genetic shit. This is not DNA that you pass on, right? Like although cancer likelihood is written in your genes, the fact that you may spontaneously develop cancer somewhere in your body does not change the genome of like your sperm cells, dude. That's not how that works. Those are just corrupted cells. They're not. It's like, I hate to use this fucking analogy because I know you're going to turn it on me, but it's imagining that a portion of the code is just corrupted, right? They just the part in the cell that broke during cell replication, right, just happened to be the speed limiter on the El Camino, bro, to give Gary something he might recognize, because I happen to be from the desert Southwest as well, right? Imagine taking the speed limiter off the fucking El Camino. That's what cancer is. And sometimes when you're building an El Camino, sometimes you forget to fucking put the speed limiter on, and that's cancer, right? But those are cells replicating. That's not your genome. That's just individual cells getting fucked up. Okay? Your genome is passed through your sex cells, your sperm, and your egg in the female, right? Which carry like master copies. You would have to get a deformity there, which is, I guess, where birth defects come from. I'm not a medical expert on this, but
that's correct. And still, is even 0.1% is still enough to make sure that you would not be able to reproduce or create a monkey to a human or vice versa, because the limitation.
No. Chimpanzees will only ever diversify and create new species, new subspecies of chimpanzees. Humans will only ever diversify and create subspecies of humans. Right? Because monophily. But all of those subspecies will not be able to interbreed. That is speciation. Right? Track that down hundreds of thousands of generations, and suddenly you're going to get very different fucking creatures, right? You're a quadruped. Well, you're not a quadruped. You're a biped. But, like, you are related to a horse in the sense that you have 4 limbs, right? You're a tetrapod. And so there was a point at which the tetrapod split. The tetrapod kind, if you will, split from the hexapod kind. Right? And so now the tetrapods are only ever going to produce tetrapods, and the hexapods are only ever going to produce hexapods. But track that down 1,000 generations, and at the end, you're going to get a bunch of different hexapods that can't interbreed. That's speciation. That's evolution via natural selection. Only the best kind of hexapods are going to survive now. Track that down 1,000 generations. Same fucking concept, bro. This micro-macro thing is a basic fundamental misunderstanding about what we observe currently, right? We're not saying that monkeys become humans. We're saying that we once shared a common ancestor. We come from an earlier kind of ape. It's just that our evolutionary line got pushed in different directions.
Your genetics.
Holy shit!
Says that you can't. The only way and even evolutionists will concede this, that the only way to become a different thing altogether is new genetic information.
No, what? What do you mean a new thing? What do you mean a new thing? You are a new thing. I am a new thing. Gary is a new thing. We are all new things, with our own opportunities to pass on adaptive genes, adaptive or adaptations, I guess, adaptive, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Adaptations. God damn it. Oh, this is infuriating. I'm tearing my hair out.
In the genome, the only way
monophily
can become together, and in many ways, is during mating. So it's only when a male and a female reproduce, that's the only time genetic information is created at all. And after that, there's no chance for genetic information being added into that creature ever possible. And then unless you check.
Monkeys have 48 chromosomes. Humans have 46. So unless you can show me two monkeys producing a human with 46 chromosomes.
Nobody, Gary, please listen to me. Nobody says this. Nobody says that monkeys produce humans. Nobody says this except you. Except you. Nobody says this. What the fuck? How do you not get this?
We don't have anything to discuss because that's impossible. It's that simple. It is that simple. Monkeys have 48 chromosomes, 24 pairs. Humans have 23 pairs, 46 chromosomes. So unless you can show me monkeys reproducing something with 46 chromosomes, they can't ever produce a human. So monkeys can't ever make a human. It can't happen. It's just impossible. Like
because you said that they have 46 and we have 48.
You're just
the other way around.
By the way, this whole thing is
monkeys have 48 chromosomes, 24 pairs. Humans have 23 pairs, 46 chromosomes. So unless you can show me monkeys reproducing something with 46 chromosomes, they can't ever produce a human. So monkeys can't ever make a human.
Monkeys
can't
ever make a hit. It's impossible.
Because you said that they have 46 and we have 48 chromosomes.
Other way around. Yeah.
Other way.
They have 48. We have 46. Yeah.
Okay, so there's never going to be a point where, and like the obvious physical differences between a monkey and a human being are obvious.
Yeah.
I mean,
because our evolutionary lines are different.
Swinging from tree to tree.
Right, but if a human has 48 chromosomes, guess what? It's not a human.
Exactly.
If a monkey has 46 chromosomes, guess what? It's not a monkey.
And that's the thing I think what people need to understand is that there are even
nobody says
even
this.
like I said,
Nobody
like,
says this. We're not claiming that monkeys become humans, dude. Nobody is claiming this. Just that we are also apes. They are apes. We are apes. We are both apes. They're chimpanzees. They're a kind of ape. We're humans. We're a kind of ape. Kind of like naked ape. Hairless ape for the most part. Well, not hairless, but you know what I mean. Maybe you don't. I don't know. We're still apes. Like monophyly.
Apes and humans having over 90% genetic differences. I mean commonalities. The differences are still big enough that an ape will only still produce an ape and never a human. No matter how much.
Yes, because monophyly. Yes, because monophyly.
Person. So
not because creation, because monophyly.
It's just so it blows my mind, just like you said that people.
How are you guys real people? Oh my god! How are you guys real people? How is this real? How is this real? I'm having an existential crisis listening to this bullshit because I can't believe that real human beings. Oh my god.
Seriously, and then it's actually going to be the third book I'm going to write about is the scientific fatalities of macroevolution. So first I got to get my first one done, which is on apologetics and destroying atheism, and then and it's called Why Atheism Doesn't Work and Jesus Does, an Intro to Apologetics. The second book is going to be Destroying Catholicism, Exposing the Heresy of the Papacy, and the third one will be
We need that book.
all three of them we need. I think.
What is it? I mean, I guess I ostensibly I know why you hate Catholics, but why do you hate Catholics, bro? This is just stupid.
You need the one on Catholicism because I'm tired of people, not just atheists, but all types of people, link what we believe with what Catholics believe, and it's not remotely similar.
No, but it also
not close.
It's not remotely similar. It's not like your schism happened like 400 years ago, which is like kind of recent in your fucking history. You know, the Protestants separated when? In like the 1600s? I'm Googling this. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. Protestant Reformation. 1500s. It's about 500 years old, if that. It's not, you're not that far off. You guys believe in the same dude. You believe that he's the same dude. You guys are all, even Unitarians, man. Holy shit. You guys all believe in the same God, in the same book, in the same tradition, in the same history, the same historiography, in most of the same rules. There's like it's like very minor shit, like how you get baptized, or like whether or not the church can interpret the Bible, how the church can interpret the Bible. Like the differences are so minor compared to like Islam or even your predecessor religion, which is Judaism, which in and of itself is relatively recent compared to all of the previous phases of Judaism, because Judaism is a 4,000-year-old religion, which sprung out of Canaan. Their predecessor, the ancient Canaanite faith, is even older than that. Holy shit, dude. And even they trace their roots to the original Mesopotamia, right? There's a bunch of Zoroastrian influence near the end of the Second Temple period of Judaism. Like, you guys are like the most recent little cloistered split. As a matter of fact, you guys are like Reformed. You're like Reformed Baptist or Reformed Pentecostals or something. Your tradition dates back to the 1700s at the fucking latest. The 1689 convention or some such. What is it? What is the Reformed Baptist Confession? Sorry, 1689. Yeah, 1689. The Confession of Faith. That's probably where you draw your shit from. That's what I'm seeing, right? This is where young Earth creationism like dates itself. Because you're super recent. Not only are you super recent, but like this is the modern iteration of something that has existed for far fewer millennia than a bunch of other religions. Like the Chinese traditional stuff has existed since at least the beginning of China, it covers a long fucking time. Okay. And you've got a bunch of other traditions on the other side of the world. Like, bro, the fucking arrogance to think that you're the most important group of people on the planet. It's insane to me that you can live this way.
I think stats have shown that there is about 1.2 billion Catholics on the planet. So that makes up a significant number of people. And the fact that there's over 1 billion Catholics on the planet tells me one of two things: that Catholics are biblically illiterate, biblically ignorant, or both.
Wow. There are so many more Catholics than Protestants than my group. There's so many more of the out group than the in group, and that tells me that the out group is wrong and that the in group is right. There are 1.2 billion out group. That tells me that out group is wrong and wrong. You see how fucking weird that sounds? You see how fucking weird that sounds? That you're arguing that you are so far removed from this other group that worships the same dude, claims the same heritage, uses the same book, cites all of the same characters, claims essentially the same theology, except that there's also a church and they decide that's it. You just don't like the church's authority. That's it. You don't like the authority of the Church of Rome. You don't like that it's ritualistic. You don't like that they have tradition. You don't like that. And that's fine. You don't have to like it. But don't pretend like you're more different to them than you are to a Shintoist. Okay? Because you're not. You are not the only motherfuckers on the planet, dude. Everyone's got a book. Everyone. And it shows, Gary and Rob, that you guys have never been outside your fucking hometowns. honestly, you've never traveled fucking anywhere. Because you would immediately realize that you do not have a monopoly on fucking truth, and you certainly don't have a monopoly on fucking faith, homie. You just don't. That is not a thing that anyone has. Everyone's got a book. You're all equally faithful. And you are all equally right, and you are all equally wrong.
They didn't want them to be able. The Pope did not want the Bible translated into your common language. They don't want you to know what's in it, because once you know what's in the Bible, it's really hard to be a Catholic. Can I say this? I have friends who are deeply devoted Catholics. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I worked with people who are devout Catholics. Some of the hardest working.
Okay, to be completely clear, the truth is that yes, the Catholic Church did not translate the Bible, the Vulgate, into common languages, right? Because there was power to be held in the Latin tradition, in controlling who was able to get educated and who was able to rise up the ranks in society. Okay, there is power in that. Yes, sir, there is. I completely concede that. I can recognize that. But the idea that they would not translate the Bible into the common language because there is some sort of hidden secret that they don't want you to know about is massively incorrect. Massively incorrect. Okay? You read the same Bible, you take most of the same interpretations, you are just interpreting a couple of different passages very differently than how the Catholics do. That is essentially your only argument, is that their interpretation of the same words written in the same book are slightly different. But please don't pretend like you're the only fucking show in town, bro, because you're not. You're just not.
Yeah, and some of the hardest working
says one thing,
people.
And the Bible, and the Catechism and the Pope says A, and the Bible says B. Who do you follow? If you say the Bible, then you're not a Catholic.
Dude! Did you?
People.
And the Bible, and the Catechism and the Pope says A, and the Bible says B. Who do you follow?
No way. No way.
The Bible.
No. No fucking way. No fucking way. No fucking way. I can't be tagged in photos. Love out. Loves divots. Oh, you piece of shit. No. Amen, bro. And I don't even care. I'll tag them in the comments. Amen. Oh my god, YouTube. Gonna go for it. All right, dude. Get a load of this, dude. Oh my god. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I caught you. You've been caught in 4K doing grody shit again. Bro, why? Why?
Then you're not a Catholic. if you say the Pope and the Catechism, then you're not a Christian. So it can't be both. It's got to be one or the other.
You don't have a fucking monopoly on the truth, please.
Right? Because these two things, the law of non-contradiction, right? Christians follow Christ. If Christ's word...
This word you keep saying, I don't think it means what you think it means.
And the Pope's word intersect, which path are you going? Because as soon as you stop following Christ, guess what? You're not by definition a Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and yeah, so I'm going to start writing.
And I don't mean to crap on the Christians, because there's a lot of things they've done. They've done great pro-life work, but so has Mormons, right? They've done great work against human sex trafficking, charity work. Catholics have done great things. I'm not.
Sure.
Yes, the Catholic notable fighters against child sex trafficking. The Catholics notable fighters against child sex trafficking. You can't write this shit. You can't write this shit. I'm so sorry. You cannot write this shit.
Mormons, right? They're not Christians.
I mean, I was talking to Mormons yesterday through a video chat over Zoom, and they were saying that on their video, showed me a video that they said, everyone is a child of God. No, not everyone is a child.
Oh, you're of your father, the devil. Yeah.
Yeah. No, anything else? Exactly. Wow. But John 1:12 says, and he gave them the right that those who believe to become. So if people become, So the fact that some are born again means that some become children. That means that obviously not all are.
See, we read this passage this way, which means that we go to heaven and you don't, because you're icky and Catholic. Please, fucking spare me. Fucking spare me.
See what the Catholics and
fucking
Mormons have done is they've taken
you grody motherfucker
Genesis 1:26 and applied it to John 12.
Oh my god!
Said, we're not just all the creation.
I need to replace this chair.
Who's gonna, even if you don't believe in
fucking breaking it?
That being called a child of God definitely sounds nice.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply to most people in the universe, but it does sound nice, right?
Does it apply to aliens? Does it apply to aliens? If we find aliens, can aliens be Christians? Or aliens made in the image of God? Oh my god. I wish this water was whiskey. I think it would be making me feel better right now. Actually, I don't. I would prefer rum, actually. Now that I think about it. I wish this water was rum. Because I can't handle this.
Narrow is the path. Narrow
is the
path. You find it, right? Broad is the path to destruction. Many take it. So off the bat, Jesus told you, most of y'all are going to fail. Most of y'all are going to follow a different path.
How awful. How awful. I don't care about all of you. I just care about the guys who are like devoted to me and all that shit. I don't care about the rest of you guys. You guys are fucking losers. How cruel. What a cruel, miserable way to look at creation, at the thing you created. How awful and brainwashed and miserable must these people be to think that we all deserve that they deserve that. A religion of guilt, of shame. For what? For being human.
Not me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think that most people who follow Jesus don't follow the Jesus of the Gospels. They follow Jesus. Like Ray Comfort said before he was a Christian, he said, I followed a comfortable God. And I was like, Jesus was like this cozy little teddy bear. I could just take him off the shelf and, snuggle up against him and put him back on the shelf and go about my business. But so when I read the Jesus of the Gospel, like, whoa, Jesus that I believed was just a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, and this idea that and you get this from a lot of pastors in the U.S. and it drives me insane. Is that you're gonna have a nice, comfortable life if you're a Christian? God will. Yeah. It's like, did Jesus have it? Did the apostles? The apostles talk about living by faith, right? Just traveling the world by boat, saying, hopefully we find someone who will feed us and put us up while we spread the message, right? None of it is comfortable.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Notice that you don't do that. Notice that you don't do that. You don't dedicate yourself to living by faith. You're sitting on a computer proselytizing to other idiots instead of going out and doing the fucking thing. You're not walking around in tattered robes, praising the Lord out in the street, welcoming people to confess their sins, to praise God. You're not a monk. You're not a missionary. You don't do any of this shit. You don't do any of it. You don't even follow the fucking lifestyle. You're a fraud, dude. You're a fraud. Fucking commit to it, you pussy. Well, you're the biggest pussy in Texas. So, I guess that's why you won't commit to it, right? Go become a fucking monk, dude. At least the Catholics have that on you. The fucking monks? Badass shit, dude. Being a monk? Fucking dope. You're fucking dedicating yourself to it. You are a lazy piece of shit for doing this instead of going out and devoting your fucking life to God.
It actually says it is pure joy when you go, yeah. When you go through difficulties, consider it pure joy. Your character is being strengthened, right?
You know what, Gary? Let me put it into language that you'll understand. The monks are not of this world. They are not of this world. They have the heavenly mandate. You are of this world. You are a part of the worldly existence, Gary. You lead a material existence. You're not devoted to God. You're sitting here on a fucking computer, dude, arguing about minutia with other idiots on the internet. You wear a gold fucking chain around your neck. You wear nice headphones. You got a fucking green screen. You run this little channel. You're not a fucking minister, dude. You're a fraud. You're a fucking snake oil salesman. That's why you worked in Wall Street, you slimy fuck. Go become a monk. Go become a monk. Live what you fucking preach, homie. Live what you fucking preach. You fake-ass cartoon. You fake-ass cartoon. That's what you are, Gary. You're a fake-ass cartoon.
Like, I've always said, there's nothing you can do to me. What do you want to throw me in jail for being a Christian? I'll start a Bible. I'll start a men's ministry in prison. You're gonna kill me?
Become like a.
No, the fuck you won't. No, the fuck you won't. No, the fuck you won't. You're a snitch. I know it. I know it. You're a fucking snitch.
Paul.
You're gonna kill me? I'll go be with Jesus forever. There's nothing you can do to me, and none of it has anything to do with being comfortable, right?
No, I mean, well, why would, if we were comfortable, why would like one of the Holy Spirit's names as the Comforter?
Yeah,
because we need comfort.
I'm gonna let you just kind of. We're gonna do part 2 next week, but I want to you go into the difference because we've gone awry again.
Yeah.
You kind of tell us macro, micro evolution. What's the difference? Which one's observable, and then we'll pick up from there next week.
Okay, so micro evolution is basically adaptation and changes within a species. Meaning, like I said, example earlier.
Otherwise known as change in allele frequency over geologic time, otherwise known as evolution via natural selection. Natural selection. Change in allele frequency over geologic time. Micro, macro, not a thing, same thing. Evolution via natural selection.
Labrador and golden doodle, and they breed, you're going to have a combination of the Labrador and the golden doodle, but it would still be
It's not always how it happens, by the way. Sometimes they don't blend. Sometimes it just turns out to be a golden doodle, or sometimes it's a Labrador. Sometimes it doesn't blend, man. That's kind of just how breeding works sometimes. Sometimes some of these traits are dominant recessive, and they don't blend well.
So
It's like this motherfucker never filled out a Punnett square. Like, what the hell?
It's variation between a species, but it still produces the same kind, the dog. Macroevolution basically says, to be blunt, you can get human beings from slime over time, or you can get like a land-based animal, like say an elephant, become a quad. No, I'm not saying that evolution.
Again, monophyly. You just don't understand how this works. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of how this works. Elephants do not become whales, okay, because of monophyly, because of evolution. Okay, they only diversify into different kinds of elephants, which, if you track it down far enough, they will not be able to interbreed at the lower levels. That's speciation.
Evolution say that, but I'm just saying that evolution gives the possibility for something as absurd as an elephant becoming a quad as a possibility.
Right. So microevolution is summarized. Microevolution is change at this species level, and macroevolution is change above the macro level. Like,
oh, for sure,
two dogs reproducing a cat, or two dogs having a raspberry, or a raspberry
what?
or something like that. Correct?
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb, yeah. It's like, and so obviously, and
yeah. When you put up this fucking straw man of evolution, yeah, it sounds real fucking dumb, Gary. It sounds real fucking dumb.
Revolution is like there's lots of kinds.
Again,
of
produce your model.
Produce
Produce your model.
We'll get into all that. Yeah,
we'll get into all that another time. But I mean, for now, I just say that macroevolution, first of all, doesn't meet the standard of scientific method, anyways, because according to science,
not testable. Yeah,
it has to be observable, testable, repeatable. The thing is, no one's observed it. So
peppered moths. We have observed peppered moth evolution.
See, if you can't observe
it fails from the start because it's not observable. There's nothing to even test or reproduce it. There's nothing. It fails. It's failed from the start.
Yeah, and I think that what evolutionists do is what they do is bait and switch. So, for example, they'll talk initially about macroevolution, and then they'll switch to microevolution,
and vice versa.
And then
no, we don't switch. It's all one thing. Micro and macro, there's no fucking difference. It's the same fucking shit. It's evolution via natural selection.
And then convince people.
Darwin's finches, they had different sized beaks.
Yeah. Exactly. Speciation.
So I think
diversity.
The clever thing that they have done with evolution is they switch it without people knowing, especially impressionable kids like young kids or teenagers. If you say, for example, look at two dogs and they produce. That's the example of microevolution, and then they'll switch it to macroevolution or vice versa.
Artificial selection, which is the human manipulation of the mechanisms that evolution uses. Yeah, human selective breeding, that's just artificial selection, which is, again, it's just evolution, but human accelerated evolution. That's all it is. Right? Modern wheat would not be able to cross-pollinate with ancient wheat because it's that far separated. They're both still wheat. They're related, but they can't interbreed. You see how that works? That's evolution.
Most people aren't aware, especially if you're an impressionable kid, you wouldn't know any different anyways, that your teacher has just played a trick on you and you didn't realize.
This I can't abide. You viciously stupid motherfucker. You are a viper for this. You are a viper for this. This is full fucking serious mode for half a minute. To imply, let alone to outright state that educators teaching normal science, dude, let alone like shit like politics, right? Which a conversation can be had there if you want to. But the idea that educators are purposefully misrepresenting things like earth science, things like biology, things like math is just it's unconscionable that you would say this. It is unconscionable. I cannot forgive you for this. This is such, you are a viper for saying this.
I realized it, which is kind of what set my brain in motion. I realized it immediately.
Just God, fucking malignant. This is, you are purposefully trying to sabotage a conversation about the education of children to serve your religious aims. You're a fucking viper for this, dude. This is disgusting.
Yeah, the thing is, probably most of your classmates didn't. Right?
No.
You see, and the thing is, like, and I think that this is one of the problems. Is like, most people just, I mean, stats have shown this over and over again. I've talked about this before, but I don't think it bears repeating that most people believe unquestionably between what they've been taught as kids and what society says is acceptable as adults. Unquestionably. Now,
the fact that we pass on good, solid information about how the world works to the youth is bad to these people. It's bad that we have developed a method to teach the next generation everything that we have learned about the world, so that they can start working from there as soon as they're able, and they don't have to do it all over again. The passing down of scientific data, of qualitative knowledge about the world, about our species, about our history, the fact that we pass this information down to the youth is bad. Because that's what education is, folks. We're just passing down to the next generation everything that we've learned. It's like hyper-efficient oral tradition, which is essentially what it is. It's hyper-efficient oral tradition. And it's bad because it doesn't serve their weird fucking cult. Insanity.
What do we call people who believe things unquestionably? They have what? Blind faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to say that these atheists and evolutionists don't have faith is just to be blunt
That's
bullshit.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It's
Their
ridiculous.
entire worldview is a blind faith position that's completely contrary to the scientific method, which of course was created by Christians to understand God's creation.
God, shut the fuck up, dude. No. There is nothing in science that I have to believe on faith. Not one fucking thing. All of it is testable, reproducible, quantifiable. It's data. You can look at it. You can recreate the experiment. You can redo the study.
Which is why we have the scientific method. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'll just say one thing about
every Christian. No, I probably shouldn't say that because it's not true. There's a lot of young Earth creationists with PhDs. I have to remember this. That there are still some people with a massive amount of knowledge who adhere, a massive amount of knowledge about how the world works, how the universe works. There's a PhD holder in fucking astrophysics, which is... Sorry, there's a young Earth creationist PhD holder in astrophysics. I should have qualified the statement properly. I'm sorry. There is a PhD holder amongst you young Earth creationists who works in astrophysics. Like, this man has an intimate understanding of how the Earth was created because he works in astrophysics, the one department that literally studies this, how planetary bodies interact in space, how gravitational bodies, how celestial objects operate in space. So he knows that for a fact that the universe is 13 billion years old at minimum, because he knows about the star data that we collect. We see the light from the star. He knows that the Earth has to be at least 4.5 billion years old, because astrophysics is what is the word I'm looking for? Supported by geologic evidence, including, wouldn't you fucking guess it, radiometric dating. The formation of the Earth lines up with what we find in geology. The way that we understand the physics to have worked. How we know the moon was created. Through a planetary impact with this body called Theia. Right? That's why moon rocks are very similar to Earth rocks. Okay. Oh, God. I'm so done. I want to be done. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Science of, we can't say it's science. That's why I say science in brackets of evolution is that DNA is biological code. Now we know that in comparison.
No. It is not literally code. It's a great analogy because it also stores a kind of chemical information, but it's not code. DNA, the brain is not a computer in a literal sense. Okay? It's a great metaphor. It's a great analogy. It's a great way to think of the system so that it makes a little bit more sense and we can use these concepts in common parlance. But DNA is not literally biological code. No.
If you write a computer program, that program requires a programmer. Well, the same thing goes with biological code.
No, because DNA is not created; it's evolved.
In regards to DNA, DNA is biological code. That means that whoever made DNA code,
you're just repeating yourself.
It requires someone writing the code for your DNA.
You've just repeated yourself. You've just said the same thing 3 fucking times.
Work.
Right, like no one thinks an encyclopedia would write itself. Someone wrote the encyclopedia, right?
And the thing is,
one code is way more complex than that. Like,
and the thing is,
you're just repeating the same claim. Code requires a coder. Code requires a coder because code is code, and code requires a coder because coder is code, and code requires a coder. That's all you're fucking saying. None of this is evidence. The coder must exist because the code exists. The code exists because the coder exists. We exist because God exists, and God exists because we exist. Circular.
Strand of DNA has more than all the encyclopedias. Has more information than all the encyclopedias in the world.
Yeah.
No. What? No. We've sequenced the human genome. This is. I don't even know how you would measure all of the do you mean like a cumulative encyclopedia? Like we take all of the encyclopedias in the world, take all of the information out of the encyclopedias, correct for duplicates, and then combine into one cumulative for duplicate entries rather, right? And DNA contains more information than that? I don't think that's true. How many bytes? How many bytes in the human genome? The 2.9 billion base pairs of the haploid human genome correspond to a maximum of about 725 megabytes of data. There you have it. Each base pair can be coded by 2 bits. So there you go. You can create DNA with base pairs coded in 2 bits, which means that at maximum, DNA, the entire human genome, 725 megabytes. If you've played any video game in the last decade, that's not a whole lot of space. Helldivers 2, actually, 725 megabytes. I bet I can find a game in my Steam library that's that big. I bet I can find a game in my Steam library that's exactly that big. Dude, Baldur's Gate is 142. Fuck. I haven't even played this game and I have it installed. I don't even have it installed, bro. That's insane. Properties. Installed files. 1.74. It's actually going to be pretty hard to find something that's exactly that big. I have most of the games in my library are bigger than that, homie. Slightly bigger than Cruelty Squad. I'm going to do this. I'm doing this for the meme. I don't even care. Faith? No, Faith is tiny. That's... Yeah, wait. 753 megabytes? Boom. Crazy. Faith, the game Faith, is 753 megabytes, slightly larger than the size of the human genome. There you go. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. You are just monumentally retarded.
Had to have created that. That can't. The argument, obviously, is that can't exist on its own. It's called irreducible complexity.
There is nothing irreducible in nature. Nothing that we observe is irreducible.
Complex at its most basic form should just have existed.
Nope.
I mean, I would just hope that
it's just flat out incorrect, demonstrably incorrect.
If you're an atheist or evolutionist, that start studying the anatomy of the human body, and you'll start to realize just how stupid that entire theory and philosophy is.
Well, they're atheists, so they're not going to study anything. They're going to watch pornos in their basement and pictures.
Yeah, man. Study the human anatomy and then compare it to chimpanzee anatomy and see how many similarities you find. And then look me in the eye. Compare it to the chimp. Compare it to Homo habilis. Compare it to Homo neanderthalensis. Compare it to Homo erectus and all of our predecessors. And see if you can't spot the gradual change over geologic time. Woo! The ghost of Darwin is coming back to get you. Woo! Ridiculous. Insanity. Absolute insanity.
And play video games.
Yeah, actually, I know. I mean, I said this to a guy. I mean, because I was kind of getting irritated with his. He was going at me about this, and I said, "Well, did you take a few minutes in your mom's basement to stop watching porno and video games to come up with this all by yourself?"
No, I just.
Hey, Rob. I did something at 20 years old that you can't do at 40. I have a mortgage. You don't. You live in some fucking apartment in Hamilton, fucking Ontario, and we can tell because you fucking upload from it. You're probably on fucking government housing. I shouldn't poor shame him. I've done more with my life, is what I'm saying. I've done more with my life than you have with yours, Rob. Mother's basement. Try the lobby of a fucking McDonald's, asshole. Screaming in front of, dare I say, God and everyone.
Just looked at internet memes and went with the meme. All right. We will be back next week with part 2. We'll get a little bit more into your physical complexity and the differences between the different types of evolution, and how atheists try to just kind of make all forms of evolution the same when there are distinct.
Nope, there aren't.
Of different
There
types
aren't.
of
It's all the
evolution.
same. It's all the same shit.
You can find me at Fort Worth CrossedTalk. That's FTW_.
Yeah, fuck your socials. I don't care. What a monumental retard. I didn't know they made people this stupid anymore. I'm sorry. Fuck, dude. You are just a special kind of fucking stupid, Gary. You're just a special kind of fucking stupid. You and Rob. Honestly, I just don't know what to do with you guys. Do I want to watch another one? Do I want to keep torturing myself? You know what? I want to watch his response to Andrew Tate. I actually do want to know what he has to say about Andrew Tate. So we're gonna watch his thing about Andrew Tate, and then I'm going to fucking bed.
Welcome to Fort Worth CrossTalk.
Oh, dude, the cornrows. Oh my
God!
god!
Do the show where I was going to respond.
Who told you that was okay, bro? Oh, they look so bad on you.
To Nick Fuentes' appearances on Fresh and Fit, where he talks about Christianity and what a Christian is. Unfortunately, that got taken down.
Do you like? I don't think I heard you right.
Welcome to Fort Worth CrossTalk. It's good to be back. We're going to do the show where I was going to respond to Nick Fuentes' appearances on Fresh and Fit, where he talks about Christianity and what a Christian is.
Responding to Nick Fuentes. Okay, so, all right.
Unfortunately, that got taken down. It was not on Rumble this morning, so I went to respond to it and take my notes. It was gone. So we're going to do the Tate thing instead. And we're going to do a show tomorrow on the new Fox News lineup. Y'all are excited by this. It's also conservatives. But today we're gonna get it into the Andrew Tate thing. It's gonna be a Christian response to Andrew Tate. I'm not gonna show my hand. Yeah, I just want to get into a few things, and this is the verse I want y'all to look at. Open up your chapters, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, with verse 36.
Okay, hold on. Mark 8. Mark 8. Let's see what you have to say. And what verse is he saying?
37 for what be a Christian response to Andrew Tate. I'm not going to show my hand. Yeah, I just want to get into a few things, and this is the verse I want y'all to look at. Open up your chapters, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, with verse 36.
8:36. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? If anyone is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, the Son of Man will be ashamed of them when he comes in his Father's glory with the holy angels. 37.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Mark 88, 36, 37, atheist?
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Why does he just have atheist at the end of there?
Because Tate's a guy that is very prideful, very boastful about what he's gathered up on earth. That the moths can destroy and the rust, and he's very, very prideful, very boastful. Has he earned it in a God honoring, Christ centered way? Well, let's get into that. I want you to keep this in mind. For what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world? And no one's going to gain the whole world if you lose your soul in the end. What shall a man give in exchange for his soul? What makes that a good trade? We're going to get into that. Like I said, we're not going to. Okay. Full admission up front. until about a week ago, I had only seen about 2 clips of Andrew Tate. One was sent from a friend who was saying, in the video, Tate was saying women are his property, and if his chick is on OnlyFans, they owe him a cut of the money that she makes on.
For the record, the OnlyFans discourse is fucking stupid. The OnlyFans discourse is fucking stupid. Do what the fuck you want with your own body. If your partner has a fucking problem with it, that's on you guys. You have to figure this shit out in the relationship before you go in. Okay? Fucking be adults about it. Be open and honest with each other about your intentions before you get into a relationship and then figure out that you're hitched to the wrong fucking person. God.
OnlyFans selling herself on OnlyFans. This is degenerate on a number of levels. I'm not even fitting to respond to that. The second video, I agreed with Tate that was sent to me, and he was chatting about fight gyms versus fitness training gyms. I'm not really sure why, but he's saying that fight gyms are dirty and grungy and not very well maintained. And if you go to a gym that's bright and shiny and a state of the art, it's probably not a good fight gym. And I tend to agree with that, right? I really didn't have much opinion on the guy. Those were really the only clips I've seen. Then I saw one. So I'm acknowledging I'm very late to the Andrew Tate party. Fully acknowledged. Very late to that party. I've seen quite a bit of him now in the last week. So I want to get into this, right? He's a millionaire from selling webcam girl videos, right? That's what he does. He has girls that do webcam videos. And from what I've seen in the clip,
yeah, he's essentially like, I guess, a digital pimp is what you would call it, like an online pimp, a cam girl pimp.
The interviews I've seen from him, and if I'm wrong, I want you guys to correct me because I'm not a master on this at all. I'm very late to the Andrew Tate party. He had sex with women, and then after he had sex with them, I guess he senses vulnerability, and the women will trust him. And this is scientific. The oxytocin, they're pair bonding. The hormones, they're bonding. They're clinging to that person who you just had sex with. Look, and I'm not simping for these women. It's their fault. They're whores. They pour themselves out. I'm not simping for these girls. They're in their own sin. They need to deal with that. But what Tate has is the women vulnerable at the fornication. He starts his sales pitch to get them to do the webcam videos, from what I understand. If that's wrong, I need to know, right? But that's what he said. That's virtual prostitution. Maybe it's legal. Maybe it's not. I don't know, and I'm not making.
I don't know that it's prostitution. It's like I guess it's as exploitative as forcing somebody to work in porn. It's not exactly pimping because you're not selling the sex. You're selling video. You're selling visual materials, right? So as he walks a fine line, I would call it pimping. It's just a different kind of pimping.
Making any claims on his guilt or innocence in his case, I don't know.
I would even say that these girls were pimped out in the same way that Ryan from Ryan's Toy World has been pimped out by his parents. Like he's been made to do work for their profit. These girls were made to do a specific kind of degrading work for Tate's profit. He's a pimp. Just a different kind of pimp.
That's not what this video is about. Okay. So the guy will pay girls to do on the webcam videos. I guess it's virtual prostitution. The guys will pay the girls to do whatever they want, right? Guys will pay a certain amount of dollars to keep it going, and they'll tell the girls to eat dog food out of a dog bowl or whatever, and the girls will do it. And you can see,
he's not a cool guy. He's not a cool guy.
And then
presumably none of it is consensual.
Money, and then cuts the girls, a certain percentage of payment, which I don't want to get into. And then he pockets the rest, and that's how he runs his business. That's how he makes his money. I'm not getting anything wrong, correct? This is about right. He's a porn peddler. Live porn.
Essentially, yeah, essentially.
Look,
he's like a porn pimp.
Being a porn peddler in and of itself doesn't make you guilty of anything other than peddling porn. But like a strip club owner or a casino owner, or I'll go after my own business, boxing, a boxing promoter, it's often a front for something else. It's a legal front for a dark business, for a black market business. Now, I repeat, I'm not saying Tate is guilty of anything at all. I have no idea. I am simply saying that's what he does for a living. If he is guilty of trafficking or of other nefarious activities, I will be shocked. All the signs are there. It doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. I'm not saying he is. But if he is, I lived in Brooklyn, in a Russian neighborhood, and there were strip club owners, and they all had other things going on in those strip clubs which were not legal. So what we know is he's guilty of peddling porn. Is he guilty of sex trafficking?
Well, he's sex trafficking, I would say, maybe kidnapping, because these girls were presumably there against their will. This is like a common scam tactic in Eastern Europe, the boyfriend trick, right? Where you lull them in, and once you get them in, they can't leave. You take their passport and everything, and they're trapped in the country, and they become dependent on you.
Conservative simping for this degenerate perv.
This is a specific kind of like incel groiper weirdo who, I mean, you essentially do the same thing, Gary, just to a lesser degree. You have the weird machismo thing. Machismo, as we would say in Spanish. Like this weird, like, I guess in the United States, it's called toxic masculinity. I think machismo is a little bit better because it's like a projective thing. They idolize that because they've been conditioned to think that that's like okay. It's a problem with media and media consumption in our country, but yeah, I mean that's ostensibly why. It's because they idolize masculinity, and Tate as a shitheel who's very successfully a shitheel. He can like exude that that machismo and capitalize on the insecurities of people. I guess maybe not like you, because you don't seem to like him, but at the very least you can see through it. But very insecure people who have maybe not been hugged enough.
Today he posted on Twitter. He tweeted John 15:18. I'm sorry, John 15:18.
He tweeted John 15:18. Let's look up this. John 15:18. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. Okay.
18. If the whole world hates you, know that it hated me first. Right? Pretty famous verse. Jesus is talking to his disciples. He's talking to his followers. He's talking to us Christians, who are going to be hated for following Christ. Being a degenerate pervert, selling porn after you fornicate with girls online is not what Jesus is talking about here. That is not what Christ would do. I really dislike this man. That is really misleading thing.
I'm glad that you dislike him. It saddens me that you dislike him for the wrong reasons.
They don't hate you because of Christ. They don't hate you because you're doing what Christ did. I think you're largely beloved for doing what the world wants, which is producing porn. Right?
No, most people don't like Andrew Tate. Most people think that Andrew Tate is a shitheel, and rightfully so, because he is a shitheel.
I think the world loves him. I think he's one of the most popular men of the faith. Now, there are certain people who don't like him, right? And look, I don't want anything unjust to happen to him. I hate what he does. I think he's a part of it. He's not the degeneracy. He's a part of it. He contributes to it. He makes life worse, right? Like the world would be better without him than what he does, from what I understand. But for some reason, conservatives are simping for this guy, which I don't fully understand.
Yeah, well, because the conservatives are largely patriarchal, don't you know? And so patriarchy lends itself well to machismo when bent hard enough in that direction. Notice that you also peddle conservatism you are vulnerable to the same kind of thing. And I would even argue that you do hold some of the same attitudes that Andrew Tate holds about women and their place in a relationship, and certainly in their place in society. I think you have publicly advocated for taking the right to vote away from women, or at least from like dumb people or people that you consider to be dumb. I don't know, dude. This seems like the pot calling the kettle black, but at least I'm glad that we're on the same side about this. Andrew Tate is a shit heel.
Lila Rose. There are some. I'm going to get into it. So Tucker Carlson, I think, is sleeping with him now. I think Tucker Carlson and Andrew Tate are now.
What the fuck?
Friends, I think they may or may not be dating. I'm not sure.
What is this an allegation that is being peddled on the right that Tucker Carlson is secretly gay for Andrew Tate? Bro, this is some. Oh my god, this is some real life person fanfic in the making, bro. Tucker Carlson x Andrew Tate. Lemon ship. I love this.
And remember, it's Tucker Carlson simping for the porn peddler who was fired for being too religious for Fox News. Maybe, apparently, that was what was rumored. The guy that's simping for the porn distributor. I don't understand this at all. But there are some people. I'm going to get into it. Lila Rose, Live Action Network. Shout out to Lila Rose. Is all over this. She's spoken really well on this. She's kind of articulate what I'm articulating. This is not a friend of social conservatives. This is not a friend of conservatives. This is a deeply disturbed man who's doing
100%. 100% agree with you.
I saw Ali Beth Stuckey speak up on this. Liz Wheeler went after him pretty hard, right? It's the pro-life people. People who value life, and I would imagine sexual purity, are the only ones speaking out against this.
Not true. Plenty of socially liberal people are speaking out against this, mainly because most people don't like Andrew Tate, regardless of where you lie on the political spectrum, because he's a shitheel. But you are certainly not the only one calling this guy out.
So I understand that Democrats may hate him for a very different reason. He's misogynist, they say, right? He's supposed to be this alpha male, masculine guy. What I see is a very scared man looking for social acceptance. I understand that his parents are divorced. Is that correct? Again, I'm not trying to
speculation.
You can see that in him.
Does it matter?
Acceptance. You can see.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Divorce is like the leading factor, or the leading not the factor, but one of the indicators of criminality in the future, right? In children. So then maybe, but this is speculation at best.
Bond, right? Like when the foundation, I'm not saying all people who have divorced parents are broken, but there are certainly symptoms of that. Connecting with people, trusting people, right? Pair bonding with people other than your siblings is extremely difficult. They don't trust anyone because the bedrock foundation of their life was destroyed. God hates divorce for a reason. It destroys. It has a multi-generational effect. I watched another video with Tate where he's saying that he's a good father because he makes $1 million. I don't even, and no, he doesn't have time for his kids, but he make money so that if they want to go on a trip, the cost of the plane fare, and this is what he said. You can't tell me I'm wrong because this is what he said. The cost of the plane fare won't prohibit it. I mean, Tate, do you really think kids want one of? They had two choices. One, more rooms on the mansion, more bedrooms, more square footage, more bathrooms in the mansion, or time with their dad. Which one do you think they value more?
This is honestly a very sane and salient point, which speaks to, I guess, Andrew Tate's warped priorities, or at least the warped priorities that he projects to the public, right? Yeah, finally making difficult about something, Gary. See, we can agree on some things. You're just a monumental idiot about science.
Ali Beth Stuckey, Lila Rose, and Liz Wheeler have been championing this and kind of articulate what I'm saying. This is not a friend of social conservatives. This is a sexual pervert, a sexual deviant who fornicates with women and then sells porn that he has paid the women to get into. I mean, if you know anything about the porn industry, these women end up depressed, on drugs, suicidal.
Yeah, the porn industry is bad, but it's only bad because it's stigmatized. It's bad because we live in a society that has been very sex negative for most of its history. And so it's hard to create a nice positive atmosphere in a industry that is full of social rejects. Because those are the only people that can work in the industry, because you can't really be up in the social rankings if you're a porn star or a sex worker, because 400-500 years of Protestant Christian tradition has shoved this idea in the back of everybody's minds that sex work is bad, like inherently immoral for some reason, or that like having even just even like consensual, like ethical production of pornography, which is ostensibly what's going on with sort of your typical independent entrepreneur in like the OnlyFans or the Fansly space, right? I don't know a whole lot about how the inner workings of it all function, because of course I don't use these services. I do have some friends who are in this business though. And it seems pretty okay for the most part, in the sense of like you're not being exploited because you're the entrepreneur in this case, right? Although there are allegations that maybe the app doesn't treat creators super well, in the sense that their like contracts might be predatory or something. But that's that's business models, and not necessarily sort of like, we're no longer talking about studios like pressuring people into doing things, right? We're talking about independent people creating homemade pornography, which I think is, yeah, man, if you want to do it, go for it. If you can make money with, dare I say, what the good Lord gave you, fucking go for it, but of course, just understand that you are in an exploitative business. Like what you are doing, you are to some degree preying upon, depending on the way that you execute this, of course, because there are ethical ways to make pornography. But a lot of what the studios have pushed for the longest time has been pretty predatory against men, specifically. The mechanisms through which the stuff that is produced is sort of like predatory towards men, and the way that it's produced is predatory towards women. So it hurts everybody in the process. But especially like artists, like people who make drawings. This is like, I'm getting into a rambling at this point. The people who make like drawn pornography, like artists, illustrators, can sort of get around this because it's all fiction, it's all art, right? Which is why the furry art market is so fucking valuable, because the kind of stuff that you can't really do with people, because you run into all sorts of like logistical and on some, in often case, consent problems, right? You run into technological problems, but you can do it with drawings, right? And so it becomes feasible to engage in these fantasies in a safe manner, right? Pornography is super cool, dude, and it has like a crime reducing effect. It's okay to let people indulge in fantasy sometimes, man. People got to blow off steam somehow, and if they are able to do it in the privacy of their own home, even fucking better. And if it doesn't involve hurting anybody or violating anyone's rights, why do you care? Why do you care? I mean, this is what it boils down to. The pornography thing is, why the fuck do you care what somebody does in the privacy of their own home? Man, it's fucking weird that you care about whether or not I'm whacking it.
There's a Bible verse, which we'll get into that.
We'll get into the Bible verse. You've already thrown two at us. Why are you shy all of a sudden?
What he's doing, and
come on, man, spit it out. Spit it out.
What's suggested for him? What would he be better off doing?
What's suggested for him?
Tucker, I think, is not sleeping with Tate. I think they're officially a couple. I don't understand why Tucker Carlson is simping for this guy.
Is Tucker Carlson?
People like myself have got to come after him.
Is Tucker Carlson simping for Andrew Tate?
He peddles porn for a living. Like, are we getting that? He peddles porn, webcam girls.
It's kind of crazy that this is your only objection to him, is that he peddles porn and not that he like serially mistreats and abuses women. And that he's like kidnapping people and preventing them from seeing their families and making them work and not paying them properly for the work that they're doing. It's crazy that the porn is what bothers you.
Talk about it, fornicating with them.
Fornicating. The fact that he's having sex outside of marriage is what's bothering you, not the fact that he's sex trafficking women.
Do porn so he can pimp them online. This is what quote unquote conservatives are simping for, advocating for a fornicator who peddles porn and brags about fornicating. He's prideful, he's boastful.
These are your complaints. He peddles porn. He peddles porn. He has sex outside of marriage, and he's proud of it, and he advertises it publicly. This is what you care about when it comes to Andrew Tate, not the fact that he's causing a bunch of people to suffer immensely, not the fact that he's committing several international crimes, not the fact that he's just cruelly, he is engaged in a cruel, inhumane business to deliver a product that you might consider to be toxic, but he's doing this at the expense of other human beings. Like, that's not what bothers you. What bothers you is that the end product is porn, and that what he does in the intermediary is have sex with other people outside of a marriage, and that he's proud about it. That's what you care about.
He's boastful of his sin. He's prideful of his sin and fornication. Now, this is not much different than what Sodom and Gomorrah was brought up for. Sodom and Gomorrah weren't brought up for sexual perversion, which it was, but it was the pride they had in that. And you can see the pride he has in peddling porn. Why? Because he has a lot of money.
Holy shit, dude. Comparing. Because in the original Hebrew, right, the context is that it's like rape. Rape is the big thing that's going on. The word they use to describe what the townsfolk want to do to the angels, right, is to rape them. Of course, these idiots translate it to homosexuality, which is fucking stupid, but whatever. But comparing that to the production of pornography, even if we hold and suspend disbelief for a moment, and even assume that the pornography is ethical, you have just a fundamental problem with pornography. The fact that you're comparing that to a historical tale, if I grant you that, of a town full of rapists that like openly demand to be able to rape newcomers to the town. The amount of immorality here for you is equal, and that is concerning.
You know,
it's concerning that you think Andrew Tate's biggest crime is producing pornography.
And back and forth with one Twitter handle. And I said, you know, this is what he does. He peddles porn for a living, right? This is what he does. He goes, he's a businessman. And I asked, what's his business? Porn, right? Question mark? I got no reply. I'm hearing he's a good influence on young men. I hear this over and over again. If my son grew up to be a porn peddling fornicator, I failed him. You know, and you know, teenagers are seeing this, right? It's porn. It's probably, you know, the verification process is very easy. You know, this is affecting kids. You know it is. You know, Matthew.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's the price you pay for having free access to the whole of human knowledge, man. Sorry, dude. It's not that we want kids to look at it, right? You can't stop them. There's nothing you can do to stop them. It didn't stop me. It didn't stop you. It didn't stop anybody. How about we just have a more healthy discussion about human sexuality? How about we just change the way that we treat this stuff so that it doesn't cause us problems down the road? Because the vast majority of the problems that we see with like repression and like the breaking down of dating dynamics is because we have a sex negative culture, dude. We have this weird backwards idea of what human sexuality is. We can just change that. We can just be less icky about sex and sexuality and human interactions, bro.
If anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. That's better than what Tate's going to get. Guys, he can repent, but from what I understand, he's an Islamic pervert. He's an Islamic degenerate sexual.
Islamic? Is Andrew Tate a Muslim? It's a great question. Is Andrew Tate a Muslim? Oh, he did recently convert to Islam. That's interesting.
A fornicator, adulterer in his heart. And this is what we want our kids to grow up with?
No, certainly not. I mean for different reasons, but no. You and I can agree on that. Andrew Tate is not a good influence. Should not be elevated.
I think this shows, tramp a child in the way he should go. Even when he's old, he will not depart from you. If my kid ended up like Andrew Tate, I failed them. That's my fault. I didn't train them up right. I didn't train them to be soldiers.
Should you go to hell for that? Should you go to hell for not raising good Christian sons? I wonder.
22:6. I get this thing. It's social conservatives. Somebody he's a good influence because he has a lot of money. There was a New York Times poll not long ago.
I don't know that anybody says that.
The only value that is going up is the value of money, family, God, community. Those are all rapidly decreasing in popularity. But money is now the most, according to this Wall Street Journal poll, which they've been doing for years, is now the most popular value.
What? Money is the most popular value. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that anybody says money are my values. I think psychopaths say that. I don't know that citation, please. Produce this article. Produce this study.
The most common value we have in this country. And I think this is what we're seeing. Right? Because social conservatives no longer champion the family. They don't no longer champion God. They don't really any champion community anymore. It's just, get money, no matter what, even if you have to peddle porn. Be a virtual online pimp, whatever. And Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox for being too religious, whatever that means, he's in bed with this guy. I don't.
Citation, please. Citation, please.
Understand this at all. Andrew Tate's not your friend, right? And like if you look at this new Fox News lineup, and I want to get into this, you got Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity. Laura Ingraham is the best one. And she's not good. She's just not a pervert deviant like the others. You got Sean Hannity, left his wife, divorced his wife, had an affair with a coworker 20 years his junior. Then you had Jesse Waters, cheated on his pregnant wife, left his wife for a girl, much younger than him. This is your Fox primetime news lineup.
Not to defend the actions of these Fox hosts, because I don't really like Fox News and I'm not interested in defending them. Do you think that like cheating on a partner makes you a less credible news anchor, that it makes you like a less professional individual. Does your personal life matter everywhere? It feels like you're doing the same thing that like Marxists do, which is like that the personal is political, the personal is public, there is no private, right? Everything you do is a reflection of is this like publicly projected reflection of you. Everybody has trouble in marriage, man. Shit happens. I think that this Judeo-Christian thing has pushed a lot of people into marriage that would not have otherwise wanted to get married. I think we have a very warped view on what relationships should look like. I think Hollywood has fed us a lot of lies about what relationships require from people. And hey, man, sometimes you fall in love and sometimes you fall out of love. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just deciding that it didn't work. You know, this idea that a relationship fails and that makes you like less of a person, less deserving of compassion, less deserving of forgiveness, or, less deserving of respect, right? That we shouldn't put you in positions that are elevated or positions of power. That we shouldn't look up to you as a role model, as a source of reliable information because you had an affair. Oh, okay, yeah, man. They had some personal shit in their lives that that they had to deal with. But this idea that you can just write them off as lesser than you, I don't know. I mean, I ostensibly I know it's because this Christian worldview sets you up to do this, right? It sets you up for this like stratification of human beings, but whatever.
Left his pregnant, cheated on his pregnant wife and left her with twins to go be with a younger woman. And then you have Greg Gutfeld at 10. Greg Gutfeld, I mean, there's nothing conservative about him. He mocks Christians openly. I mean, but this is your lineup. Does this represent you? Does Fox News represent you? We're going to do a show on this tomorrow.
Do you have to be Christian to be politically conservative? Is it possible for you to be politically conservative without believing in God, or does it necessitate a belief in God? Also, which God? Do you have to be specifically a Christian, not just any kind of religious, to be a conservative? Are Hindu conservatives not a thing? Are Jewish conservatives not a thing? Are atheist conservatives not a thing? I'm a libertarian, which puts me in like the sort of socially conservative. I'm a live and let live kind of guy, essentially. Is it not possible to hold socially conservative views without being religious? Because I feel like those two are not intrinsically tied. But you seem to think otherwise.
Tomorrow, I think. Does this represent you? But these are the people telling you that Andrew Tate is a good influence. To who? Look, I'm not a judge. I don't know the details of the case. I have no idea if he's guilty or not.
Good move.
I saw a few clips from the BBC where they asked 2 questions. This is like a 10-second clip I saw from the BBC. Now, I know how to read body language on an elementary level. I studied a bit. I volunteered. I did a Bible study, youth program.
Okay,
at Texas Juvenile Youth.
He just said something key here. I know how to study. I know how to read body language on an elementary level. Do you mean that you're good at it or that you're not very good at it? Because your later statement seems to say that you did a Bible study, you studied it a bit, you led a youth ministry, and that makes you what?
Juvenile detention center.
At a juvenile detention center. The fact that anyone allows you around children is shocking.
Learned how to read body language a little bit because I wanted to see who was lying to me. They asked him 2 questions.
Body language does not always indicate who's lying to you. It's good for people who are not like cognizant of their body language. But that's any decent liar knows how to fake body language.
Are you a rapist? He said no. He appears to be honest in that. The lady with the BBC then asked him if he was a sex trafficker, and his body language was atrocious. Check the blinking. His eye blinking. He blinks about 3 times in a row. And kind of his voice gets softer. And he says, His body language is atrocious. Like,
He blinks rapidly and his voice drops, what, half an octave? And this is indication that he's lying. And this is somebody you've never met personally. You've seen a couple of clips of his behavior and seen his tweets, and you're an expert about his body language. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke.
Pull it up, I can point it out to you, right? But it's the blinking, it's the dropping in his body. Your body goes in defense mode. You don't want to lie. God didn't make us to lie. God did not design us to lie. And this is, we can debunk evolution this way.
Prove it.
Lying can keep.
Prove it. Show me God's plans. Show me God's blueprints for humanity, and demonstrate that there is no plan there's no notes in the blueprint for lying.
You're alive, but it's not how God designed you to be. So there's a natural consequence of that. It's going to affect your
Also,
body,
that's a negative. Prove. There's a negative that you can't prove. Oh, God does not make us to lie. There's a negative that you can't prove.
This evolution thing would be good, but it's not good. God told you not to do it, so it has negative effects on you.
Lying does not have any negative medical effects on the body. You may get nervous, but that's not necessarily a negative effect. That's just you being nervous because you know that you're bullshitting. But of course, if you don't know that you're bullshitting and you think that it's true, then you're not going to experience this.
There are certain signs. The blinking. You guys think this is a little sign. It's not. It's a major thing. It's like rubbing your face or covering your mouth in a poker game.
It's crazy that Rob does this constantly. These things that you just mentioned, Rob does them constantly on your stream. He touches his face. He covers his mouth. He picks his nose. He's constantly scratching and moving, and eyes are darting everywhere and blinking. He does all of these things when he talks. So he must be lying, right? He must be lying every time he talks on your streams.
Massive tell. So just from one clip, his body language suggests he's a trafficker and not a rapist. I'm not saying that's to convict him. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying that's what his body language suggests.
Oh my God. I
now,
went off
the
Mr.
body
Prince's
language
wild
doesn't
ride.
really work well on sociopaths. But the video suggests he's not a sociopath because he failed the traffic question. If he was a sociopath, he would pass all of it because he's unaffected by lying. He's unaffected by almost everything, right? And there are a lot of rich people.
Or he could be faking it for sympathy. Psychopaths are known to do that. Maybe you misread the body language, and he's actually trying to push body language for sympathy, to fish for sympathy. You don't know that. You don't know. You're not in his head. You don't know. Stop making assumptions.
People, a lot of
You know what happens when you assume, right? You make an ass out of you and me.
The amount of sociopaths, I think, is 1 in 10,000, right? But then when Fortune 500 CEOs, it's like 1 in 5 or 1 in 10.
Is it true? Psychopathy rates? I feel like that can't be. 1 in 10,000 seems like a lot. Psychopathy rates. About 1.2% of adult men. 1 in 100. Oh my God. It's so much worse. Fuck. Wow. That's wild. And among violent domestic abusers, it's 15 to 30%. 15 to 30 out of 100 people who are domestic abusers are psychopaths. That's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy, right? It's insane, right? But that's what you have to do. And so, if you want to argue he's a sociopath, I'm gonna say you back into. I don't think he's a sociopath because
I wouldn't be surprised.
The trafficker question. So I'm fixing to understand this.
The trafficker question.
Porn peddler, fornicator is a good influence on young men.
He's a porn peddler. He's a fornicator. He's a bad man. We gotta get rid of him. We gotta make sure that he's sleeping with the fishes, okay?
I'm not making this up.
I'm not making this up. He's a porn peddler, fornicator. He's a porn peddling, fornicating, digital pimping motherfucker, okay? Why do you talk like this? Why do you talk like this? You're from Texas. You should be talking like this. Why do you sound like you're from Boston?
Conservative media has shifted from the people it's supposed to represent, supposed to communicate to. I mean, how degenerate is this culture? The mainstream media is filled with pedophile, perverts, and overall degeneracy. We know that, right?
Yeah, there's an uncomfortable amount of pedophilia going on in Hollywood. We probably should have nipped that one in the bud several years ago.
But like conservatives were supposed to be the people of value, supposed to be the people of morals. That's gone, guys. Like, this is why I want Texas to secede. I just don't want to be a part of it.
No fucking way you're a Texas secessionist. Oh my god. Oh no, you're a secessionist. Oh, please tell me this is an ironic position. I mean, I guess it's kind of based. I can't like it's super cringe because it's not ever going to happen, and you would fail immediately. Texas Texas would immediately have a huge problem because it would not be able to trade effectively with fucking anyone. That is the big thing, is that you now have to compete with America and Mexico and Canada and Europe and Japan. You have to compete with all of these other markets. And you don't have treaties with anybody, and you just got out of a bad relationship with the United States government. So nobody's going to like you for a while. Texas can't secede. Texas could probably secede, but it will not succeed if it secedes.
This anymore. The media, the culture is disgusting. It's degenerate. It's got nothing for me, but we knew this would happen. I just don't want to be a part of it. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below.
My god.
Find me.
No, fuck your socials. Fuck your socials. I've had about enough of Gary for one night. I'm going to bed. This is Gary. You're such an interesting creature. That's what you are. You're a creature. You're a creature. End stream.